All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media, and my name is Judson Powell. Get my glasses up. Anyway, I want to talk about the whole Tyree Nichols thing, and it's I guess I went from the standpoint of a friend of mine posted something and basically he summed up my sentiments exactly. It's like I looked at the video and I cried, and because it was like the saddest, one of the saddest things that I've ever seen. Um, or most, I won't say saddest, but I would say horrific and violent and everything like that. Well, there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of rumors out there. One of the main rumors is that there was one of the officers was involved in a love triangle with somebody's wife or something like that. That's one of the rumors that's going around. The other thing that's going around, I would say that's real heavy, um, is why they fired the officers so quick with no investigation or no nothing. They were saying, well, usually even when it's white officers, what they do is they put them on administrative leave with pay, do an investigation, and then after the investigation is over, then they'll make their determination on whether they want to fire them or not. So that's kind of where that is. Um, I, I I just see that the whole thing for this young man um, is a debacle. Um, the other thing is I put on my Facebook, like what was y'all thinking? How if even if it was the case about the love triangle or whatever, even if that's true, what were y'all thinking? Y'all knew y'all was on, y'all knew y'all was on camera and all of that kind of stuff. Once you get somebody in the handcuffs or whatever, then it should be over. The other thing and this is the things that have to happen out of this. There's got to be some kind of rules and regulations about when it is appropriate to use deadly force. Right now, there is nobody out there who's really making a definitive statement about what is really the legitimate use of deadly force, because most of these things, like, you pull somebody over on a traffic stop, they got a broken headlight or something like that. You should never even be looking for that to be a deadly incident, even if, and definitely once you have somebody in handcuffs, then all of that abusive stuff should stop right there. And I look at all of this stuff. There's got to be some laws passed when and I'm not saying defund the police. That's not what I'm saying. The whole defund the police thing, that's ridiculous, because then who's gonna respond when you really do need the police and you really do need help? So then who's gonna respond in that case, right? So I guess the whole thing is, it was I guess I cried because, not only because I was sad, because I was disappointed. I was like, come on, y'all, we gotta do better. We gotta do better than what's going on, and especially when you're in a position like that. They should have never ever laid a hand on that kid. There was no reason to use deadly force. And in fact, I don't think that they should use deadly force unless the person is known to be armed and dangerous or something like that. But when you got somebody pulled over, you got a guy five. I mean, look, come on, y'all. It was 5-1. What was he gonna do? 5-1. What was he gonna do? And then y'all put him in that. Y'all think y'all just beat him. They say you beat him within an inch of his life. Well, y'all got to within an inch of his life, and then the rest of the inch was closed down. by whatever forces may be. So we got to do better. We got to do better. I'm like highly upset about this thing. And the other thing is the white folks are going to use this. That's the first thing they say. Oh, well, it was the the black guys did more harm to these black guys than the white officers did, or X, Y, and Z, and blah 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 blah. And it's always going to be brought up. I mean, come on, look at how they do for slavery. Oh, well, there were black people that were involved in slavery too. They find there's plantations from Virginia all the way down to Florida and across all the way to Texas, but yet still, y'all, there's not a thing y'all bring up one instance of somebody black being involved in slavery, and all of a sudden everybody's doing it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden everybody is guilty or whatever and trying to do all this stuff, in slavery. And can you imagine? You realize how many slaves there were and how many plantations there were, and now that's like some credible research is coming out. We're starting to find out that a lot of these plantations, they had 300-400 slaves, and all of these, they basically, and then there were like hundreds of these plantations in every single slave state. And so then when people find out this, that, the other thing, and the other thing I look at is like they'll say something and they'll be like, well, you got to remember that slavery was legal. It was immoral, but it was legal. It was part of the law. It was part of the law. So people, and it was in the United States of America at that particular point, it was the way that life was and the way that business was done, right? Because unless they had some place to bring the slaves, there would have been no slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade. And then here's the other thing that I want to talk about. That was what you call a segue. But the all of these people walking around talking about that certain people were indigenous to America, to Turtle Island. We'll go even further. We understand that there were indigenous people. We know that indigenous people came across even from as far away as where Russia is, because we know the Bering Straits crossed from Russia into the United States, right? And maybe not that long ago. But what I'm trying to say is that it was very easy for dark-skinned, for melanated people to get to this continent. It wasn't hard, all right? So it was an easy thing. Now, with that being said, they are not immutable or mutually exclusive, is what I wrote, right? They're not mutually exclusive. And by that I mean that both of them could have happened, and both of them probably did happen, and both of them are equally responsible for the slave trade. Because even if these people were already here, guess what? We got all of the evidence. They wiped, more so than the people that came here on the transatlantic slave trade, the natives, they wiped them out. Okay, what do you think? The Trail of Tears, they wiped them out. And I forget which comedian it was. Like, I think it might have been Chris Rock was talking about, like, you don't never see a true Native American family. You go to the buffet or something like that, they don't exist. They're not in that context. Don't hit my DMs for that. All right. But yeah, they don't exist. I'm talking about in the context of, like, you see Latino families, you see black families, you see white families, you see all these different types of families out there, and even mixed families or whatever it is, right? You see those people out there all the time, but you rarely, unless you go on the reservation, you rarely see a truly indigenous couple or family out there. It's very, very rare that happens. So that's why we got to look at it from the standpoint of, okay, no matter how they got here, they were treated badly, okay? And even if they were here and they just took them captive, okay, it's six in one hand, a half dozen in the other. It all is the same. It don't really matter. The bottom and the other thing is, which has been said for years, is like if you're black, all right, if you are a black person, a melanated person, if you are a brown person, all right, it does not matter, because you are being treated the same way, irregardless, right? It doesn't matter, regardless of what you say or what you do. All of these people have been they've been used by the establishment. And the thing with black people, we deserve reparations. We have fought in every war. We built most of the stuff in the country. We were the ones who were building the buildings, the courthouses and the Capitol buildings and all that kind of stuff. Guess what? Slaves built that stuff, especially in the Confederate States. So now all of a sudden, why aren't we being protected? Why every time somebody says something to an Asian or somebody says something to some other non-indigenous group, all of a sudden there's outrage and there's money and there's everything for everybody. But for us, everybody just says no, it'll just cost us too much. But then y'all turn around and y'all send a $500 billion in arms to Ukraine, and also arms to Israel, and arms, wherever else we could be arms dealers. We sending them out and we get money. And as many people, there are almost 8 billion people on the planet, right? And the Walton family, who owns Walmart, got enough money to give every single person on earth $1 billion, and they still ain't gonna be broke. Elon Musk could do the same thing, and so can Jeff Bezos. All of these multi-billionaires, they could, or let's not even talk about it from race or from chattel slavery or anything like that. Let's just talk about it from the standpoint of just everybody else being able to survive. How are you going to be doing stuff predicting that these particular ethnic groups are not going to have they're not going to have nothing? They're saying by 2040, half of these ethnic groups, and especially black people in America, will be at zero. Their net worth will be at zero. And it's already pretty much like that now. It ain't that we're not that far off from that situation as we speak. So what are we gonna do? And the other thing is, and these public massacres, public beatings, public lynchings, all of this stuff, that stuff, I urge the Justice Department to step in and take care of this stuff, because it's absolutely ridiculous. And there needs to be more, for police officers, there needs to be more training, more sensitivity training, more training to try to get, just so that these things don't happen all the time. Can we, and that's not even a whole bunch of money, but it's going to save people's lives. Why we got to keep every couple weeks? It's just like these whole mass shooting thing. That's something, I'm going to talk about that next time. But mass shootings. Why we got all these mass shootings? And but yet and still, don't nobody want to do nothing about guns. Oh, it's cool. We don't want to do nothing about guns. But every day now, and I'm talking about, it's like every day. Anyway, fastest 15 minutes is up. My name is Judson Powell. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit all the buttons, but most of all, hit the love button. I love you. Bye.